8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by J. Yogaraj. For C headlines. The Treasury prohibits the conduct of parties and functions at state expenses to mark the retirement of public sector officials. The government is to set up a data protection authority early next year. Several measures are underway to control selling illegal drugs in schools. Limited LP gas stocks to be released to the market until next Wednesday. State Minister C. M. Lapite takes measures to investigate into the matter related to milk powder stocks piled up at the Colombo port. News overseas, Russia is to ban women from being surrogates for foreign men. And those are the headlines. And now we move on to the stories in detail. The Treasury prohibits the conduct of parties and functions at state expenses to mark the retirement of public sector officials. Secretary to the Government Treasury, Mahinda Siriwardana, issues a circular spelling out guidelines restricting the use of state money for such events. Accordingly, officials are restricted to organize opening ceremonies, functions for officials receiving duties, get-togethers and similar events at state expenses. The circular has been issued to ministry secretaries, chief secretaries of provincial councils, heads of departments, district secretaries, heads of state-owned enterprises and heads of state-run banks. The Treasury said that they have been advised to ensure that funds are not misused as they are responsible for the funds of the respective institution. A senior Treasury officer said the move came after reports that some of the senior public sector employees, including secretaries and heads of state-owned enterprises, were planning to have functions at the end of December, some of them at five-star hotels to mark their retirement at state expenses, the Treasury official added. The government is to set up a data protection authority to protect personal data. State Minister Kanaka Herath said the Data Protection Authority will also help to monitor consequences of the digital age and the digital economy too. The authority will be set up and initiate its operations early next year, he added. The government has also scheduled to improve cybersecurity in 10 state institutions. State Minister said the body will be independent and engaged in the Central Bank, Securities and Exchange Commission, Telecommunication Regulatory Commission and all relevant sectorial regulators to ensure a proper governance of personal data. Minister Susi Premjayantha says several measures are underway to control distribution of illegal drugs in schools. At a media briefing, the minister said that it is punishable offence to keep illegal drugs in one's possession. He added the government has listed 178 compounds as illegal drugs. Minister Dr. Vijayadas Rajapaksa revealed in Parliament that senior and even secondary level students, both male and female, in leading schools in Colombo and elsewhere are now addicted to use the illegal drugs. Meanwhile, State Minister of Defence Pramita Bandara Thenakon says it was a matter of serious concern that young men and women and even school children were falling prey to drug addiction. He said that the Ministry of Defence has taken effective measures to curb this. He added raids to arrest drug peddlers are continuing and strict actions would be taken against them regardless of their status. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Limited LP gas stocks will be released to the market until next Wednesday. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Piri, says the high demand during the festive season and the delay in the arrival of the ordered gas shipments to the island were the key issues to take this decision. The chairman also said several gas shipments are scheduled to arrive in the island by 30th of November. He added that the gas distribution will be carried out as usual after the ships undergo the unloading process. He stressed that there is no shortage of LP gas, but there will be high demand of LP gas in the festive season during December. State Minister Ranjit Singh Malapite instructed relevant officials to investigate into the matter related to 400,000 kg of milk powder stocks piled up at the Colombo port. The Milk Food Importers Association and chairman of Hanod's Cocoa Private Limited, Dr. Lakshman Veerasurya, said his company has to pay demurrages of over 4 million rupees for the stocks of milk powder imported. He said 400,000 kg of milk powder containers are stuck at the port as a result of the delay in approving documents by the Department of Exports and Imports Control. He noted that his company had to get approval from the Ministries of Trade, Industries, Banks, Department of Exports and Imports Control for documents of importation, causing unnecessary delay in the clearance of the 17 containers stuck at the Colombo port. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Treasury prohibits the conduct of parties and functions at state expenses to mark the retirement of public sector officials. Secretary to the Government Treasury, Mahinda Sirivardana, issued a circular spelling out guidelines restricting the use of state money for such events. Accordingly, officials are restricted to organize opening ceremonies, functions for official assuming duties, get-togethers and similar events at state expenses. The circular has been issued to ministry secretaries, chief secretaries of provincial councils, heads of departments, district secretaries, heads of state-owned enterprises and heads of state-run banks. And that came to you in top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Chief Medical Officer of the Colombo Municipal Council, Dr. Ruwan Vijayamuni, says that there is no risk of another major surge of COVID-19 in Colombo City. Dr. Vijayamuni says there is no major risk of the pandemic making a comeback within the Colombo City, as a large amount of city population had got the booster vaccine, especially after the emergence of Omicron. He added that he had an update on the situation from the Infectious Disease Hospital, IDH, and the authorities there told him that 1 out of every 50 older people are found positive during the past few days, which is low and far from being an alarming situation. And that was Watchlight.
Select technical and vocational courses with proper guidance. Visit regional career guidance centers or visit nearest district divisional secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skills development officers. Be aware on unregistered institute which promote widely. Don't waste your valuable time and money. Visit www.tvec.gov.lk for more information. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
First, the headlines. Protests in China against government's strict COVID measures intensified. The United States bans Huawei and ZTE communications brands. Russia to ban women from being surrogates for foreigners. And those are the headlines of the world news. Protests in China against government's strict COVID measures have intensified. Some people publicly venting their anger at the Communist Party leaders, and thousands of protesters have turned out in Shanghai, where people bundle into police cars, the BBC reported. Students have also demonstrated at universities in Beijing and Nanjing. The latest unrest follows a protest in the remote northwest city of Urumqi, where lockdown rules were blamed after 10 people died in a tower block fire. The United States has announced it is banning telecommunications and video surveillance equipment from prominent Chinese brands including Huawei and ZTE. The Federal Communication Commission, FCC, said using Chinese equipment is unacceptable risk to national security. The 5-member FCC said it had voted unanimously on Friday to adopt new rules that will block the importation or sale of the targeted products. Russia will soon adopt a law barring foreigners from contracting Russian women to be surrogate mothers for them. Vyacheslav Volodin, Speaker of the lower house of Russia's parliament, made the announcement today, the nation's Mother Day. Aid surrogacy is legal in Russia, but the practice has been criticized by religious groups as commercializing the birth of children. And that's world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
strength. In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Listening, the trusted leader.
In development news, China has assured Sri Lanka of its continued support to overcome prevailing challenges. The Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, He Zhengbong, engaged in discussions with President Ranil Wickremesinghe. During the talks, Ambassador Zhengbong assured President Ranil Wickremesinghe of China's continued support to overcome current challenges, the Chinese embassy said on Twitter. The President and Ambassador also reviewed the progress of bilateral and multilateral negotiations on Sri Lanka's debt issue and denounced misinformation by foreign media on China. And that was the development news. And moving on to the sports, Costa Rica has beaten Japan 1-0 to keep their hopes of qualification in the next round of the World Cup alive. Luis Fernando players spent most of today's game on back foot, but came on top with right back Keisha Fuller's beautiful cut in the 81st minute and their first and only shot on target. Japan, who entered Ahmed bin Ali Stadium full of confidence after their win over Germany, lacked the cutting edge to break down a resolute Costa Rican defense. And that was the sports news.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Nestle Lanka has reaffirmed its commitment towards Sri Lanka by investing over 2 billion rupees by building a new vacuum band dryer in Kurunegala. By Nestle Lanka aims at expanding the capacity of its manufacturing facility for malted food by the new vacuum band dryer. Nestle Lanka says its Kurunegala factory manufactures over 90% of the Nestle products sold in the country, employing strict quality control measures. And that was the business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Moving on to the economic news, the Yala National Park will be expanded by another 27,185 hectares. It was resulted as the Ministry of Wildlife and Forest Conservation to designate the Lunugambehera National Park as a wildlife zone under the Yala National Park. Minister Mahinda Amravira unveiled the plaque of Lunugambehera National Park as Zone 6 of Yala Park and named the park as a zone belonging to Yala National Park. And that was the economic news. And moving on to the weather report, the Met Department says several spells of light showers will occur in the northern province. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in Uva and southern provinces. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in central, Sabrakambu and eastern provinces during the afternoon or night tomorrow. Misty conditions can be expected in Sabrakambu and central provinces and Gaul and Matra during the morning hours. Several spells of light showers may occur in the sea areas off the coast extending from Mana to Kankasenture. And that was the weather report. To wind up this news broadcast, let's look at the main points once again. The Treasury rules out the conduct of parties and functions at state expenses to mark the retirement of public sector officials. The government is to set up a data protection authority early next year. Several measures are underway to control selling illegal drugs in schools. Limited LP gas stocks to be released to the market until next Wednesday. State Minister Siamla Pitia takes measures to investigate into the matter related to milk powder stocks piled up at Colombo Port. With that, we conclude this news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.